So, what's really the difference between almost getting there and having a true breakthrough? It's not just about being talented or getting lucky, it's actually about a specific kind of mindset, one that teaches you to see failure not as this giant brick wall, but more like a doorway. Okay, so to really get what I'm talking about, let's start with a classic puzzle. And look, it seems super simple on the surface, but trust me, it reveals something really profound about how we all go about tackling our biggest challenges in life. All right, so here's the challenge for you. You've got 9 dots arranged in a perfect little square. Your mission is to connect all of them using just 5 straight lines. And the catch? You can't lift your pencil off the paper. So go ahead, take a second. How would you do it? Now, if you're like most of us, your first instinct is to stay inside that neat little box that the dots make, right? You start drawing your lines, but you always seem to run out of lines before you run out of dots. Sound familiar? Well, here's the secret. The only way to solve it is to break a rule that isn't even real. You have to draw your lines beyond the dots. See that box you were trying to stay inside? It was never actually there. It was just a limitation you put on yourself. The real breakthrough happens the second you decide to go outside those imaginary lines. And that little puzzle is the perfect metaphor for what we're going to call the breakthrough mindset. It's all about recognizing those invisible boxes we build around our own goals and then having the guts to actually step outside of them. It's a total shift in perspective where you start seeing risks not as things to run away from, but as the key ingredients for your success. But look, a mindset is one thing. It's powerful, for sure, but it needs a direction, a map. So how do we actually apply this stuff? Well, it all starts with the first piece of the puzzle, turning those big, vague dreams we all have into actual concrete blueprints. It's such a simple idea, but it's so powerful. I mean, dreaming about being a Broadway star or a CEO or whatever it is for you, that's awesome. But if you don't have goals attached to them, those dreams are basically just wishes floating around in the clouds. So here's the key difference we really need to get. Think of it like this. Dreams are the what. They're the beautiful, formless idea of the destination. But goals are the how. They're the turn-by-turn directions, the actionable steps that actually build the road to get you there. And this is exactly how you build that dream into a real tangible thing. You just break it down into smaller pieces. What's one thing I can do today? What about this week? This month? Each one of those small goals is like laying another brick. And before you know it, you've built something incredible. Okay, so now you've got the right mindset and you've got your blueprint of goals. But actually doing the work, executing the plan, that requires the second key ingredient. And honestly, this might be the toughest one of all. It's having the guts to fail. This is where sheer courage becomes the fuel for everything else. To really show you what this looks like in the real world, let me share this story from the source material about a Broadway audition early in an actor's career. It really drives this point home. So picture this. You find the perfect role. I mean, it's like it was written for you. You can feel it in your gut. This part is yours. But there's just one tiny little problem. Well, a pretty big one for a musical. You can't sing. So yeah, naturally, the job didn't happen. It was a failure. Simple as that. A clear-cut, absolute failure. And for most people, that's where the story would end, right? Chapter closed. But what happened next is the whole point. Step 1, walk right out of that theater. Step 2, immediately start prepping for the next audition. And step 3, keep on failing. And failing, and failing again. Over, and over, and over. And this really boils it all down to one single question you've got to ask yourself. Just forget about talent, forget about the dream for a second. The real question is, do you have the guts to fail? Because you've got to reframe what failure even means. It's not the opposite of success, it's a part of the process. Think about it. If you're not failing, you're not even trying. Every single failure is like a receipt. It's proof that you showed up, that you put yourself out there, and that you dared to go for it. So this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the thing that ties it all together. You've got your goals, you've got the guts, but what keeps you going over the long haul? Well, that engine is consistency. It's all about playing the long game. There's this old saying that just nails this idea perfectly. You hang around the barbershop long enough, sooner or later, you're going to get a haircut. It's not about one big heroic moment. It's just about showing up, day in, day out, just staying in the game because eventually an opportunity is going to walk through that door. And here's the kicker. This is where the power of just sticking with it becomes so clear. The story comes full circle. Remember that failed singing audition? That was at the Court Theater. For the next 30 years, the actor just kept showing up, kept falling forward, as they say. And 30 years later, he was starring in Fences, on the very same stage where he had failed so badly all those years ago. So what's the point of all this? The point is this. You already have the training and the talent to succeed. Your potential isn't the problem here. That part is not even in question. But that potential, it comes with a pretty profound responsibility. It's a responsibility to actually try, to put it to use, to get in the game and risk looking foolish in the process. So when you boil it all down, it's just these three things. You need goals, that's your blueprint. You need guts, that's the courage to actually start building. And you need consistency. That's the engine that keeps you going day after day, brick by brick. Putting those three things together, that's it. That's the whole formula. It's not some kind of magic. It's how breakthroughs happen. It's how you make a breakthrough happen. And that brings us right back to where we started, with those 9 little dots. We all have them, those invisible boxes, those self-imposed limits we're afraid to cross. So I'll leave you with just one question to think about. What box are you afraid to draw outside of?